Do you see now the difference in our power?
What would you think that they could do to make the game that they want to make, which is an aggressive game? What do you think that they could do to make that same game to where Moonsault thinks it's the best game in the world?
I think once you guess incorrectly and you're punished for that, I think you should be free to play neutral again. I don't think like you should get knocked down, get hit with like guaranteed mix-ups, and those guaranteed mix-ups lead to more Oki. That leads to more guaranteed mix-ups. I think that part of it is way too much, and they need to allow the player who guessed in, because like you guess incorrectly one time in the round and the game's over. The Oki's that strong. And I think that's the real problem is the Oki after these attacks. I mean, with Lydia, she does all this stance stuff. And it's like, yeah, you can stop her before she even gets started. But if she do get you with that, half of your health is going to be gone and you're going to be looking at another mix-up scenario. And it's like, I think that is something they probably can attack is all the guaranteed follow-ups, all of the, Okis after combos. That is probably the easiest thing to address.
I would argue that this game has by far the least amount of Oki out of every game prior to it. They already really kind of addressed this by making it where they changed the frames of the get up. That's why you can't like hit nobody in the back when they stand up no more. You hit them and they just slide back on the ground. You're probably saying like, don't have me in step situations where I'm on the ground and I'm getting flipped and tossed on the ground over and over again. I got to get up and block mid or get up and block low. Maybe the only thing I could think, and I have this problem with the game since Tekken 7. Like, I don't believe that you should have regular launchers hitting on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's kind of stupid. Or maybe they should just take the flip over out, because I think that causes a lot of issues. But outside of that, like, they've nerfed the Oki so much. I'm never worried about how I'm getting up off the ground. If you're just saying like guaranteed attacks afterwards, yeah, I guess I could see how that could work.
Well, think about Kuma, right? Kuma does the combo, and then after he gets that butt attack, huge unscaled damage, and then after that he has like a strong advantage on you, and it's like depending on how you stand up there, you're going to get hit with another combo, and then another unscaled butt attack, and then you're back in that same thing.
I see where you're going with that, and I kind of agree with this because I was playing somebody who was playing me with Lee and somebody who played me with Brian earlier. And I realized the reason that happens is because you could tail flip people on the wall. Like, they would have to take that out of the game in order to fix that problem. I mean, you could also take the portion out where like hitboxes are hitting that low. Like, should Kuma be able to hit you with his ass? I don't know. That's kind of been in Tekken since Tekken 5. You can clean hit people on the wall. That's kind of always really been there. I think it's just more problematic because all of the stuff I can do to take you to the wall, then I can flip you back up on the wall and get more hits and get a clean hit. So they would probably have to overhaul that portion of the game and not allow you to do like tail flips on the wall. It would definitely change the outcome of like things like you play Lee, he does his wall combo, and then if you try to straight up, he do acid kicks and flip you up on the wall and he tail flip you and then you get another wall combo and put you right back in the same situation.
First off, like, why do so many things launch? It seems like, do you think that this game has more launchers than previous Tekkens? Because I feel like everything launched. Like Yoshi back 2 launcher, back 2 like that's like it's crazy all the things that launch in this game.
No, Tekken 7 by far is the most launchy game of all time. I think that there are a lot of things that knock down on this game, and that's why you got a lot of stuff that's free Oki afterward. Because a lot of stuff they replaced combos like just guaranteed hits. Like a great example is with King's 4-4-1. On counter hit, that game that used to like tail spin you and then you run over there and get a combo. Now it just flip you out and you get an elbow drop and an alley kick. It's still pretty damaging, but it's not a combo. You got to remember all the strings were comboing. On this game, it's a lot more emphasis on like getting guaranteed grounded hits. Like a great example being the flash, how the flash gives you
flash is in back 2-2.
Yeah, that's not really a launcher, but in the other Tekkens, that jump would have just gave you a combo right off the rip. The fact that I can only launch you with back 2-2 one time in the whole damn match, whereas before I could launch you with the flash infinite amount of times. I don't think that there's as many launchers. I think the problem is there's a lot more 50-50s that knock you on the ground than before.
So like Tekken 7, you basically would just get comboed all the time, but in Tekken 8, you don't get comboed, but instead you get put in situations that could lead to another situation. So it seems like you're getting hit more or punished more. Well, I mean, technically you kind of are, right? Like if you get hit with 2 combos and die, versus if you get hit with, a bunch of moves that have guaranteed follow-ups. It feels like you're getting beat more. Is that what it is?
Oh, that could possibly be it, because it's like if I have all these scenarios where I'm standing on my feet and I'm still getting clapped up and I hadn't got used to that, it definitely feels like, man, this motherfucker keep getting to do all this shit. Then it's put me in frame disadvantage and I got to eat all these mix ups again. But when you're in the air, you just got to take them hits. Like, you really ain't got no choice. Now, what I will say probably feels bad, and this is like on a psychological level, is that at least when I get comboed, like, I know I made one mistake and I'm paying for my one mistake. And if it killed me, it killed me. What probably feels bad from a psychological standpoint is I'm not really getting killed for guessing wrong, but I keep guessing wrong. That probably is what really makes Tekken 8 feel bad. You hit me with a mid, and then you put me in a scenario where I got to get up and I got to guess mid or low again. And then you hit me with a low, and then I got put in another situation where I got to guess mid or low again. And you hit me with another low, and then you put me in that same situation for the fourth time, and then I ducked and you hit me with a mid. Now I just feel stupid. But if this was Tekken 7, I would have just been dead already. What I'll say about Tekken 8 is it very much strips away at a person's ego. Mine's included, where I'm getting beat by people, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I lost to this sorry mother. You would have never beat me if you didn't get to put me in a 50-50 situation over and over again. But the fact of the matter is, if I was really that good, they never would have got to put me in a 50-50 situation. The game ain't so oppressive that I can't do nothing about it. I just wasn't making the right decisions. And it's just as rewarding to make the right decisions in this game as it's ever been. If I sidestep your linear attack, I still get to launch you. If I duck your high move, in most cases, unless you're talking about Harong, which they need to fix some of that shit, I get to launch you in most cases. At least I get to punish you.
Heat smashes have so much forward momentum to where, like, if you sidestep it, the character flies way down the stage and you have to chase after him. I think there is a lot of situations like that where the character keeps moving or they recover fast. But if it isn't one of those like scenarios like that, which there's a lot, but if there isn't those scenarios, you do get the kill. I think that's probably the problem they should go after.
I wouldn't disagree. I don't like chasing down Lars after he done missed his shit and then he slide across the screen. I try to run into him and then I get counter hit. I don't like that. So I do agree, like, that probably is something they could look into that would make it feel a little bit better. I think that people really got to take a little bit more accountability for how they go about the process of playing this game. Are you really doing enough to complain about the game in the way you're complaining about it? That doesn't mean that there's nothing to complain about. I do some of this work, and there's still a lot of work that I hadn't done yet. And guess what I be doing when I'm in my room? I'm cussing, I'm yelling, I'm calling them sorry as hell. But after I do all that, I go to the practice arena or I go to the replay and I learn how to deal with the situation. And I say, oh, okay, so this is what the developer wants me to do right here. All right, I guess it ain't as bad. Now let me go find that dude that was whooping my ass and let me start whooping his ass, because this is all he had on me at the time. And I just didn't know what was going on. And that's how I find enjoyment in the game. And I think that'd be how most people probably end up finding enjoyment in the game if they feel like going that route. There is room for people who just want to play the game and not have to do all that. And if they don't enjoy it without doing all of that, then, like I said, there's probably not much they're going to be able to do.
Do you think it was necessary though? Like, okay, so going full circle, back to the identity, back to them, changing characters to make them more aggressive and, changing combos, knockdown hits. Do you think that was necessary, or did they create a problem that wasn't really needed?
I'm going to give you two answers. I'm going to talk out of both sides of my neck, right? Tekken 5 DR is my favorite Tekken. That's where I was number 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the leaderboards. Tekken 6 came around and they added Rage and they added homing moves, bound, floor breaks, and stuff like that. If you were with me back then, I was cussing that shit out. I was like, man, this is so dumb. Why are they letting you combo me by the wall, then do more hits on the wall, and then if I try to get up off the ground, you get a combo because you get to bound me back on the floor? I thought that jump was the dumbest system ever. The rage system. Oh, I was complaining about that jump forever. I was like, man, why is this low kick, this down 4 generic low kick doing 30 damn damage? It's doing as much as a throw. Like, this don't make no sense. I would argue that none of that was necessary. But at the other side of my neck, I would say a lot of this stuff is necessary for the game to become probably the game that you loved. If you love Tekken Tag 2, you probably wouldn't have loved Tekken Tag 2 if it didn't have bound in it, if it didn't have the Netsu system. You probably wouldn't love Tekken 7 if it didn't have armor moves in it. You probably wouldn't love Tekken 7 if it didn't have super moves in it. You might not love Tekken 7 if it didn't have Rage Drive in it. If Tekken 7 was just prettier Tekken 5, I don't think as many people would play the game. And you know what makes me feel like this? Because ain't nobody playing them old games now. Like, they're playing it now because they want to complain about Tekken 8. But Tekken is probably the only community of players that don't go backwards ever. Like, it might be a very special event where people go back and play Tekken 5 DR. Even though everybody loves this game. Casuals love it. Pros super love it. When the last time you seen a Tekken 5 DR tournament? Folks still playing Super Street Fighter Turbo 2 at EVO. People are still playing Alpha 3. Where are the people playing Tekken 3? Where's everybody playing Tekken 4? Where's everybody playing Tekken 6? Nobody playing none of these games. And it's not to say that those games aren't good, but I think that the reason we are where we are is because it was necessary for change to be made in order to progress the game along, the series along. So yes, I don't like a lot of the stuff on this game, but if they didn't change it, they were going to change it some kind of way, and it was going to be different than what you were used to, and it might have been worse than this shit.